When you say renge, you touch the ground with the help of both legs. Tak tak. Okay. Namyo renge. Come on. Namyo renge kyo. Namyo. Like that you can do. With the well, both legs. Legs. Just bang on the ground with the help of both legs. Yeah, both legs together. Okay. Namyo renge kyo. Namyo. Namyo renge kyo. Namyo renge kyo. Now you have everybody, you legs together, okay? 1, 2, 3, start. But together, dag. Namyo renge kyo, namyo renge kyo, namyo. To both the legs together. Renge kyo, namyo renge kyo. Okay, students, today's date. Do you know today's date? What is today's date? English date. English date is 13th of June 2024. It's a Thursday. It's already 8:13, right? And what is Nepali date? 31st. Oh, here is 13th, 31st. What a coincidence, right? Nepali date 31st. English date 13th. Just suppose it. 31st of Jestha 2020. No, how 20? 2081. And we are here in the class who are going to appear SE in 2082. 2082 SE batch. Currently studying in grade 9. So students are going to present in some chapters. So let me see once again what are they going to discuss today. Who are the presentators of today? Presentators? Yes, sir. Are you presentators? Why did you become late then? He did. Be on time. No. Sneha Rai, number 2. Biresh Maharjan, number 3. Nistara Sai, number 4. Kritika Adhikari, good. They might have selected or chosen their own super gurus. So right now we have got 2 super guru. One Arina Gubaju, another Kijal Khanka. Okay. So class 9. Which chapter are you discussing? Could you remember? Once again, tell me. Nature and environment. So, okay, Arina, what did we discuss yesterday? Tell me.
We discussed about ecosystem and abiotic components present in our ecosystem.
Okay. At first, definition of ecosystem.
Ecosystem can be defined as a physiological
Listen,
and
everybody.
biological components which constitute together and have a very close and delicate relationship.
And what are the different abiotic components?
Air, solar energy, soil and water.
Air, solar energy, soil and water, right. So, there is interdependence of biotic and abiotic components. If there are only biotic components and no abiotic components, ecosystem does not exist. If there are only abiotic components, no biotic components, then ecosystem does not exist. Why? Because biotic components and abiotic components, these are the requirements of ecosystem. In the absence of one, another cannot, or ecosystem cannot exist. And today, students are going to present on this point. What is the first one? Biotic components. Biotic means, what are they? Living, right? So when you talk about living, mainly they are talking about those 5 kingdoms. What are the 5 kingdoms? Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. So, but these 5 kingdom organisms are divided into 3 categories. How many categories? Who is latecomer? When did you become late? He comes from the distance of 1 meter, not 1 meter is very less. Let's say maximum 100 meter is there, right? And he comes very late. Why? What happened? Be on time, eh boy? Come here. Okay. those 5 kingdom organisms are divided into 3 categories. Could you tell me what are they? Producer, consumer and decomposer. So the presentators will tell about them, producer, consumer, decomposer, and again they will be telling you about types of consumers, right? What are the types of consumers? Primary consumer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumer. And there is about trophic level, food chain and food web hierarchy. First trophic level, second trophic level, third trophic level, fourth trophic level, and they will be going to explain about one pyramid. Can you see a pyramid? So it is erect pyramid. Excuse me, not talking. Erect pyramid. It means base is broad and apex is tapering, right? And they will be discussing about food chain. You can see grass, primary consumer, grasshopper, secondary consumer, frog, tertiary consumer, snake, right? Then next one, food wave. So, oh my God, look at here. Here is a wave, means interconnection of different type of organisms. See, grass is eaten by, or plants are eaten by mouse, plants are eaten by aphids, plants are eaten by snails. See, there is interconnection, that is food web. And finally they are going to explain about differences between food chain and food web. So shall we call the presenter of today? So who is the first presenter? Let's welcome on the stage our first presenter, Kritika Adhikari, with our super guru Arina Govaju. Arina, it's for you. It's for you. Hey. Just everybody pay attention and learn. Is there any mission or no mission?
No, sir.
No. If you make bigger one, it's better. All right.
So namaskar and very warm good morning to our honorable science teacher and my dear friends. As you all know, it's me Kritika Adhikari and I'm here to present chapter 6 Nature and Environment and its part Biotic Components. The living organisms constitute the biotic components in an ecosystem. Different biotic components are connected through food and a number of other relations. Biotic components are classified into producers, consumers, and decomposers.
There are two kind of components in our ecosystem, and they are abiotic and biotic. And here is described about biotic components. The living organisms constitutes the biotic components in an ecosystem. It means that biotic components includes all the living organisms present in our environment. Different biotic components are connected through food. It means that each biotic components depends upon each other for its food or number of other relations. And biotic components are also classified into 3 major types. They are producers, consumers, and decomposers.
So here are the factors of biotic that are producers, consumers, and decomposers. These are producers, these consumers, and those are decomposers. Producers, autotrophic organisms are producers. They are capable of synthesizing organic food from inorganic and raw materials. They may be green plants. These form primary basis of life and provide food, shelter, and oxygen to animals. They maintain balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide.
Our first topic is producer in biotic component. All the autotrophic organisms are producers. It means the organisms which are capable of producing its food itself is known as autotrophic organisms are producers. They are capable, it is also mentioned in next point that they are capable of synthesizing organic food. They are able to make organic food from inorganic raw materials such as solar energy, water and minerals through the process of photosynthesis. They all may be green plants. These form primary basis of life. It means that all the autotrophic organisms are primary basis of life for each organisms because they provide food, shelter and oxygen to animals. They maintain balance between two gases. They are oxygen and carbon dioxide.
Next is consumers. These are the animals which feed on other organisms. They are also called heterotrophs. They are divided into three categories. They are primary consumers, secondary consumers and tertiary consumers.
Next topic is our consumers. Consumers are of three types. They are tertiary consumers, secondary consumers and primary consumers. Those organisms that depend upon other organisms for their food is known as consumers. They also can be called as heterotrophs. All animals, including some birds, are also known as consumers.
So there is the picture of food chain. Primary consumers, they are herbivorous. They obtain food directly from green plants or producers. For example, deer, rabbits, beetles, tadpoles, molluscs, protozoans, etc.
And our first type is primary consumer. They all are herbivorous. It means that they depend upon green plants or producers for their food. Such animals can be deer, rabbit or beetles, etc.
Next type is secondary consumers. They prey upon primary consumers. They may be omnivorous or carnivorous. For example, larvae of mosquitoes, small fish, frogs, dogs or snakes, etc.
Secondary consumers means those animals which depend upon which mainly depend upon other animals. Primary consumers for their food or green plants, like omnivorous depend upon both plants and animals, while carnivorous depends upon other primary consumers for their food. Some examples can be snakes, and in carnivorous can be snakes, while omnivorous can be bear and us humans.
Next type is tertiary consumers. They feed upon secondary consumers. They have carnivorous mode of nutrition. Those carnivorous which cannot be preyed upon further are called as top consumers.
Next our topic is tertiary consumers, which directly feed upon secondary consumers. They have carnivorous mode of nutrition. They usually eat flesh, and those carnivores which cannot be preyed upon further are also called as top consumers or tertiary consumers.
For example, tiger, lion, eagle, big fish or snakes. Next is decomposers. Most of them are saprophytic microorganisms. They feed upon dead bodies of organisms and their organic wastage. They break down the complex organic compounds into simpler compounds, and they help to maintain the stability and dynamism of the ecosystem. Example, bacteria and fungi.
Our next consumer is decomposers. We can also note from its topic that decomposers are those animals which decompose the dead or some animals for their mode of nutrition, and they break down the complex organic compounds into simpler compounds for gaining nutrition. They help to maintain the stability and dynamism of the ecosystem through various methodologies. For example, bacteria and fungi. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, Super Guru and commentator. So, Kritika has brought so lovely slides, and her department made the slides of biotic components, right? Under biotic, how many were there? Producers, consumers and decomposers. So what are these? Are these producers? Are these consumers? Yes, because they cannot manufacture their food. And here we can see, she has just brought here the figure of food chain. Producers prepare food. The food is consumed by consumers. Yes or no? And decomposers are very small bodies and they are not shown over here. It is shown producers and consumers. So producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumer. Decomposers, what do? They convert complex food material into simpler and soluble form. Here we have to remember 3 words. How many words? One is autotroph. Autotroph. Autotroph means they manufacture their food themselves, right? Heterotroph. What is my heterotroph? They cannot manufacture their food themselves. They depend upon other for food. And next one is saprophyte. What is my saprophyte? Saprophyte means those organisms which depend upon dead and decaying matter for their food, like bacteria and fungi. They are saprophyte. But next thing we have to remember, all bacteria are not saprophytes. Some are autotrophic also. Some they can manufacture their food themselves, and some are parasitic also. Right? Have we discussed about 5 kingdom system or not? Yes? In 5 kingdom system, which is the first kingdom? Monera. So bacteria, they lie in Monera. Right? Okay. Thank you, group B members. First member, Kritika. Now it's the turn of second member. Who is second member? Nistara Sahi. With your guru? Krijal. Okay. Nistara and Krijal. Please. Please learn what your friend is saying.
Canada.
Is there presentation? There are 2 minutes, just a minute. I'll just be here, right? Means you said ready?
Our science teacher, Isur Neupani, and my dear friends, as you all know, it's me Nistara from grade 9, standing in front of you to present chapter 6 on the topic of nature and environment. I'm member of group, as I am a captain of group B. Nistara, and my member are Nistara, Kritika, Sneha and Pires.
Slowly, next one.
As my friend Kritika has already discussed about biotic component, in biotic component, producer, consumer and decomposer are related, and my topic is trophic level food chain and food web, but I'm sorry, food web is of another friends. Trophic level.
Right, left side you have to do. The right to left.
The producer-consumer arrangement is known as a trophic structure, and the position that an organism occupies in such arrangement is known as trophic level. The process of being a producer and arrangement, the producer-consumer arrangement is known as a trophic structure, and the position that an organism occupies in such arrangement. Inside the producer-consumer arrangements occupies is known as trophic level, and the introductions of first trophic level, second trophic level, and third trophic level, and fourth trophic level. First trophic level. The green plants like plant protein or shrubs or trees that derive their energy from the sun are called producer. What are producer? The producer which merely obtain their food from sunlight, especially like herbs or trees. Like in our school also they are present, like shrubs means they are small plant, or also small plant. Trees are like forest, etc. And the producer belong to the first, as producer belong to the first trophic level. You want to explain?
No, you carry on.
No, just go from right to left. No, right to left. Again. Yes.
All the herbivores are primary consumers that derive their energy from the producer belong to secondary trophic level. First trophic level was the producer, but all the herbivorous means plant eating or primary consumer that derive their energy. That derive means obtain. It's we can say as obtain their energy. They obtain their energy from the producer that is second trophic level also belong to producer, and the secondary consumer which feed on the primary consumer constitute third trophic level. Third trophic level is known as also a secondary consumer which feed on the primary consumer, and tertiary consumer that feed on the secondary consumer represent the fourth consumer, and the fourth consumer trophic level represent the secondary consumer that feed on the secondary consumer. This is a figure of ecological pyramid. As you can see here, producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, and tertiary consumer. In producer, you can mainly see a green plants, because green plants are able to produce their food by themselves, and the primary consumer are almost of herbivorous that eat plants, and secondary consumer are like snakes, toad. They feed on both herbivorous and producer and primary consumer, and tertiary consumer are both. They are also known as carnivorous because they feed on both producer, primary, and secondary. This is the figure. This is also figure of ecological pyramid. And my last portion is food chain, the transfer of energy and the material in form of food from one trophic level to another trophic level by the repeated process of being eating and being eaten is known as food chain. What is food chain? The process of eating, the process of transfer of energy from form of food from one trophic level to another trophic level, repeated in same process of being eaten or by eating is known as food chains. It flow of food and it is the flow of food and energy in a single direction in a food cycle. It can be considered as a unit of food chains. Food, food chain is also considered as a unit of food web. A food chain is divided into trophic level. Producer or green plants represent the first trophic level in all the food. Food chain is also divided into trophic level. The producer or green plants represent in the first trophic level, as I already said before. Food chain, this is a figure of food chains. You can see it is a process of being eating or it being eaten, like producer eaten by grass, super or primary, and secondary bluebird eaten by snake, tertiary consumer, and tertiary consumer eaten by decomposer. This is a process. It has been a natural process from the beginning of our journey of life, and food chain is compulsory. Without food chains our life wouldn't be able to survive, because it has imbalance. It has balanced the environment according to the situations. Thank you and have a good day.
No, order. Where order?
Mine?
I explain.
Okay.
You are not Subhaguru?
I am.
Then what happened? He became confused whether he is Subhaguru or not.
I am.
Well, you are saying from the beginning. Or if it became difficult, you do like this, just a minute.
Yeah.
Now see, she will do like this. Now you click one by one and explain. Yeah, in that way she will do. Okay. Listen.
Nistara has explained about trophic levels, food chain and food web. And first I would like to describe about trophic level.
Why did you make this bigger one? You couldn't explain smaller only.
It became itself.
Bigger. Now explain.
Where to click for next?
Down.
Yeah.
Okay.
The consumer arrangement is known as trophic structure, and the position that an organism occupies in such arrangement is called trophic level. Trophic structure is the arrangement of consumer, producer, consumer, and their space or position or arrangement in the system is called trophic level. And there are 4 kinds of trophic level. There are first trophic level, second trophic level, and third trophic level. Fourth trophic level. And the green plants like phytoplankton, herbs, shrub on the trees that derive energy from the sun are called producers. The producers belong to the first trophic levels. That means all the green plants we see around us, like from small plants to big plants, they gain energy from the sun, and they are known as producers. And producers belong to first trophic level. That means those organisms or green plants which gain energy from the sun are called are the producers, and they belong to first trophic level. And all the herbivorous or primary consumers that derive their energy from producer belong to second trophic level. That means other herbivores, that means who only feed on green plants, or primary consumers gain or take energy from producers. That means green plants, they belong to second trophic level. That means they are arranged in they are placed in second trophic level in trophic structure. The secondary consumer which feed on primary consumer constitute third trophic level. That means those kind of secondary consumer which feed on before primary consumer are called arranged in third trophic level. The tertiary consumer that feed on the second consumer represent the fourth trophic level. That means tertiary consumers which feed on the secondary consumers are represented or arranged into the fourth trophic level. And here is a ecological pyramid and energy pyramid of the of consumers. So first the broad space is gained by those producers, they are herbs, shrubs and trees, and next portion is gained up by some primary consumers, and after that secondary consumers, and at last tertiary consumers. And in this energy pyramid we can see that 100% of energy is occupied or given by primary producers, 10% of primary consumers, 1% of secondary consumers, 0.1% of third level consumers, and 0.01% by apex predators. And next topic here, Nistara has mentioned in the slide, is about food chain. The transfer of energy and materials in food in form of food from one trophic level to another trophic level by repeated process of eating and being eaten is known as food chain. That means food chain is a process in which our energy is transferred in the form of food, in which process includes being eaten or eating next praise from trophic levels are called food chain. It is flow of food and energy in a single direction in a food cycle. So this sentence is telling about the figure. Here producer grass is eaten by grasshopper, which is primary consumer, and the grasshopper is eaten by bluebird, which is secondary consumer. Again the secondary consumer is eaten by snake, which is tertiary consumer, and next up it is done by owl, apex predator, and again it is decomposed by the mushroom, which is decomposer, and again the same process repeats. That means food chain is a flow of single direction or a food cycle, and it can be considered as a unit of food wave. Food wave and food chain are totally different. Just a food chain is just one basic unit of food wave. A food chain is divided into trophic level or trophic levels. Producers or green plants represent first trophic level. That I have already said in represented in previous slide, that producers or green plants are called first trophic level in all the food chains. The producers are basic sources of food for all. That means green plants are sources of food for all of us. And by saying this much, we like to conclude our presentation. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, and have a great day. So, second presentator. Basically, what to remember, children, here, these two figures. One figure is here. Producer consumer arrangement is called trophic structure. Arrangement of producer and consumer is trophic structure. And why their position? Like, see, producers, they lie in one position. Then primary consumer, second one. Secondary consumer, third one. Tertiary consumer, fourth one. Or if there is topper one, that is called apex consumer. So the base, this is first trophic level. What is this? Producers always they lie at first trophic level. Producers are eaten by primary consumer. They are second, what is that? Trophic level. Then secondary consumers are, what is that? Third trophic level, and they are fourth trophic level. Producers means green plants are first trophic level, primary consumer second, tertiary consumer third, fourth, then tertiary are fourth. This are the same. Next one is food chain. See, green plants, they manufacture food by using solar energy. and green plants are eaten by grasshopper. Why grasshopper is primary consumer? Why grasshopper eats grass? To get energy. Solar energy is present here. That energy goes to which one? Grasshopper. When grasshopper is eaten by bird, then that energy is transferred to bird. And when bird is eaten by snake, that energy is transferred to snake. So here is transformation of energy from one organism to another organism. That is called food chain. In food chain, one organism is eaten by another organism. Here is given process of eating and being eaten. One organism eats and that is eaten by another one. Always there is danger, isn't it? In forest also, grass is eaten by deer. Now deer, can it be safe? Deer may be eaten by jackal. And if that jackal safe, that may be eaten by lion or tiger. Yes or no? And lion, tiger are not eaten by any. Sometimes they may fight with elephant, this and that, and may die. When they die, they are again attacked by decomposers. Yes or no? For energy.
Sir, what is that apex predator?
Apex means at the topmost. Like first, second, third, and this is called apex, topmost. Okay? So now it's the turn of a next presentator. Who is the next presentator? Sneha Rai, and with your guru, Arina. Please come. Sneha and Arina. How many 10 slides are there? Oh, will you make a bigger one?
Sir, there is animation.
Animation, oh, there is animation. Animation means without just a minute. With animation, then must be downloaded. Downloaded. Open. Please, load it. Okay. What?
Namaskar and very warm good morning to you all, respected science teachers and my dear friend. As you all know, it's Nistara from grade 9 standing here to present a presentation on food web. Food web, the trophic relation among simple chain, but it forms a complicated network of food chain. This net-like trophic relationship is called a food web. In other words, a food web is a network of food chain interconnected at a various trophic level.
Here we are discussing about food web. Food web, here the trophic relation among simple chain, but it forms a complicated network of food chain. It means that food web is a trophic relation among simple chain. It is but it forms a complicated network of food chain. This net-like trophic relationship is called a food web. This trophic relation may be simple, but the food chain is complicated network. In other words, a food web is a network of food chain interconnected at various trophic levels. The food chain connects the food web as food chain is the basic unit of food web.
If we go in further details of the food chain, we shall observe that the food chain are not isolated from one another. For example, a mouse may be eaten some grain in a field, and in turn it may be eaten by snake or a hawk. Similarly, the rabbit and the grasshopper also feed on a grass, and in turn they may be eaten by snake and hawk. A food web provides the alternative pathway of food availability. This also helps in checking the balance of animals and plants. A terrestrial food web explains the interlocking of various food chains in a terrestrial community. An aquatic food web explains the interlocking of various food chains in a water community.
If we go further in details about food web, we can know about detailing about food chain too. We shall observe that the food chain are not isolated from one another. Taking an example of a mouse eating a grain in a field, and that mouse can also be eaten by a snake or a hawk. Similarly, the rabbit and the grasshopper also feed on grass, which is producer, and in turn they may be eaten by a snake and hawk. A food web provides the alternative pathways of food availability. Due to food web, each animals are able to get nutrition for their survival. This also helps in checking the balance of animals and plants. Food web maintains the balance of the animals and plants in our surrounding or environment. A terrestrial food web explains the interlocking of various food chains in a terrestrial community. If it is described about terrestrial food web, it means the food web or the interlocking of various food chains in a terrestrial community, while an aquatic food web explains the interlocking of various food chains in a water community. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. So, Sneha, right, she has got the slide of food web. And here is already given, thank you. This is the diagram of food web, right? So, what does it show? Trees, grass, they are producers. They produce food. And trees are eaten by deer. Deer may be eaten by snake, okay, but snake, let's see here, tiger. Yes or no? Again, grass is eaten by grasshopper, grass is eaten by mouse. It says that it is difficult to get isolated food chain, only one food chain. Food chains are connected in different levels. Like see here, producer eaten by this one, and mouse, grasshopper, frog again eaten by eagle, again eaten by mouse, this eagle. Eagle eats mouse also, eagle eats frog also. So they are connected here in here primary consumer, but here secondary consumer, isn't it? So there, what is given here? Interconnected at various trophic levels. Simply, process of transfer of energy from one organism to another is food chain, but when many more food chains are connected, that is called food web. Okay? Now the last presentator is here. Who is the last presentator? Okay. Viresh, please come here. And who is your super guru? Arina is super guru. Come. He is going to explain about differences between food chain and food web.
Sorry. What is your name?
What is your email ID? Just to pass. Bauta. What is your name? Write your name. Why you bother your name? Somebody bother.
Email.
There is no any email. There is no any email sent by this Northern Village. Why didn't you send the email?
Sir, I tried that.
Why didn't you send? With the captain, didn't send you? Why didn't you send to her also? You have to send 2 persons. And one is school, another is one. Why didn't you make? You are very passive boy, huh? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, then you open that portion. Differences between next one. Very lazy boy here. Work is not done. You come this side.
Here I am about to describe about difference between
One more you cannot do. Huh?
difference between a food chain and food web. Food chain and food web are two different terms which can be described in such a way. Food chain. A food chain is a single pathway of transfer of food and energy. Food chain is the process of transfer of energy and food in a single pathway, while a food web is the interconnection of food chains which consists of a number of food chains. Next one is the food chain. The organism which belong to higher trophic level feed upon a single type of organism. The higher trophic level feed upon a single type of organism, while food web, the organism of higher trophic level feed upon many types of organism. It is a web while a higher trophic level feed upon many types of organisms present in our surrounding. And next one is food chain. It has no role on improving adaptability and competitiveness of the organism. Food chain does not develop the adaptability and competitiveness. Adaptability means to adapt the surrounding, and competitiveness means can be described as the role to survive in the environment by its organisms. While food web improves the adaptability and competitiveness of the organisms. In the food web, each organisms have want to protect their life and they adapt their surrounding and compete between other organisms for their survival. While in food chain, it increases instability in an ecosystem. It means that sometimes food chain can create instability in our surrounding, while food web increases stability in an ecosystem and makes the environment balanced. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, Arina. So there is one problem. It is found that Gires, he handed over that duty to Anmol Adhikari, and Anmol Adhikari didn't send. Isn't it? So when you take duty of others, make up to date, boy. Because of you, he be dependent, he fully dependent upon you, and you didn't do anything. You send means where is it? You send means it must come, isn't it? Or has it gone in spam? Is it here? If you have sent, is it here? Then you didn't send. If sent, it must come here. Children, they are very smart. They send 2 times, 3 times. Remember. So if you take some person's activities to do, don't forget to check 2-3 times. Okay. So today what did we discuss? Biotic components, trophic level, food chain and food web. And tomorrow there is presentation of Group C. Group C, be ready. Who are Group C? They will get during daytime. Okay? Thank you. Group C they have done? Then Group D.